Hi, welcome to your Optavia LifeBook audio channel. My name is Christy Baker, and I'm so glad that you're joining me today to listen to Your LifeBook by Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson. Today we're going to be closing up the element 16, and this is the chapter that's all about addictive foods. In our last video, if you haven't had a chance to watch that one, I would encourage you to go back because I gave a quiz that will determine your susceptibility to your addiction to sugar and refined flours. So if you haven't watched it, go back and listen, or you can just go look in your book on page 323 and 322. Take the quiz, and we're going to talk about a little bit what those results mean today. So thank you so much for joining me. Before we dive into our text, please take just a quick second and push the like button and subscribe to the channel. Here we go on page 324 today. This is an estimate of your susceptibility to the lure of sugar and refined flour, and that's referring to your results from the quiz. The more daily boxes that you have ticked, the higher your risk. If your score was high, then you want to avoid eating any sugar and refined flour processed foods now that you've reached your healthy weight. We have found that the part of the higher susceptibility is genetically predetermined. So just like alcohol, if you are at a high risk, it's critical that you avoid sugary and starchy processed foods. A combination of genetics and environment puts you at risk. By adopting my healthy eating system and choosing only low glycemic, green-coated foods, you can potentially keep your risk low. You can eat whole fruits, especially the lower GI deep green ones, but stay away from any processed fruits such as sugar juices or canned fruits with sugar added. The whole idea is through the healthy habits of eating that you will make good choices and avoid the need for willpower. Just saying no to anything that is not in the green. You can eat an amazing array of healthy whole foods along with our prepackaged fuelings and keep the resulting hunger and cravings away. If you have a moderate or even a low susceptibility, still be cautious with any processed foods that contain sugar and refined flour. Review anything for hidden sugar and flour and look at the list in part 1.1 in Dr. A's Habits of Health, which describes all the ways that the food industry tries to disguise sugar. Remember, if you can avoid stimulating the hormonal metabolic switches that stimulate insulin and allow leptin to signal that you're full, your body will give you the proper advice. It's only when we start eating the food industry's ultra-processed and food-like substances that we lose control. And by avoiding those sugar and flour substances, you will stop the wild surges of dopamine release that can create cravings, leading to addiction and loss of control. The Habits of Healthy Eating system will help keep these two hormones in balance. That is why you want to study and learn how to use the portion-controlled plate system to avoid excess calories and the color-coded charts to make sure that you're avoiding high glycemic foods. Study all the parts on eating healthy in Dr. A's Habits of Health until you're clear on what it means to eat healthy for life. And if you're in doubt when you're hungry, grab a fueling, which ensures that you're getting a low GI portion-controlled meal. By moving through phase 1 and continuing to adopt my eating system, you can rewire your brain and it will become automated. During this period, we have upregulated your dopamine receptors. If you're in the high susceptibility group, you're more likely to be sensitive to sweetness and the refined flour products, so you'll want to avoid them to prevent a relapse into cravings again. In addition, this is a great time to bring out Stop, Challenge, and Choose in full force for those times when you feel any emotional tension, extra stress, or other potential triggers. A call out to your coach can also be helpful if you're having one of those weak moments. And use the Optavia app daily to help support your decisions. Make a decision that nothing tastes as good as optimal health and well-being feels, and then stick to it. Write down what you're going to do if you feel tempted. Take just a quick second and text yourself, what is going to be your strategy so you don't fall into temptation? Also, write down what else you can do to your surroundings to minimize the cues as we are rewiring your brain to be fully automated so that it makes good choices. Think about how you can change your surroundings to make them less tempting. Go ahead and jot down a few ideas. I like to voice text myself and then I look at the text later. You are well on your way to becoming the dominant force in your life. We've spent a considerable amount of time focusing on all aspects of eating for a very specific reason. The world we live in presents a difficult environment for us to eat healthy on a daily basis. As I mentioned earlier, to overcome the psychological and logistical issues of our modern life, I've equipped you with a system, tools, skills, and access to a guide and a community. It's been said many times before that it takes a village to create a healthy eating environment, and now you're a part of that community. Practice daily and integrate all the aspects of your eating into your integrated habits of health clock. Leave nothing to chance. Use your daily log, your weekly and monthly tracker, and work with your coach and read your LifeBook to document your journey. Remember that installing all of these habits allows you to have the freedom to continue to build optimal health and well-being without relying on willpower, which is ineffective by itself. We've not focused a great deal on motion, increasing activity or exercise through phase 1, because our focus was on what is the most effective in weight loss. Now that you're transitioning, you're probably going to be feeling better, more flexible, carrying around less weight and pressure on your joints. It's now time to shift our attention to motion. This wonderful world of movement will help you optimize your weight management and continue to build optimal health in your body and your mind. That's where we're going to be going in our next element. Before we close up today, I just want to ask you a few reflective questions. And just like before, jot your thoughts down on a text to yourself or maybe in your notes on your phone and share them with your coach. That's really what brings the richness to those check-in calls. Number 1, what does this element mean to you right now? What does this element give you an opportunity to reflect on? And lastly, what actions are you going to take as a result of this element? Thank you so much for joining me today.